Business Activation Academy is finally open for enrollment, and I literally am so excited. This is something I've been waiting for, honestly, for months, from the beginning of this year when I had the download for this academy, and it just continued flowing and channeling through me and taking shape in so many different ways. And I'm so excited to finally be able to bring this to life and share it with all of you, because truly so much work, so much love, so much value has been poured into this academy, and I cannot wait for you all to see what is inside. So in this episode, I want to break down a bit about the activation formula and what that means to me. So align, awaken, and activate, and how I've built my own activated business and what an activated business means. So to me, building an activated business is building a business on your own terms and being able to make conscious, intuitive-led decisions that incorporates your own unique energy through human design and through understanding yourself, understanding your soul calling and your secret sauce, and being able to put in the work to shift your thoughts and be the most activated version of you. Let's dive in. I'm your host, Tiffany Chung, your go-to for all things marketing, mindset, and manifestation. I grew my online business from 0 to beyond 6 figures in 8 months. My purpose is to empower women to step into the highest, most aligned versions of themselves. If you are ready to take charge of your life, learn how to design a wildly successful business, and leave limiting beliefs behind, you've come to the right place. You will learn the actionable tips and step-by-step strategies on money, manifestation, and social media. It's time to step into your role as boss, to raise your vibration and tap into your unlimited potential today. Welcome to the Social Reset Podcast. When I started my business, I shit you not, I didn't have a single thing planned out. I've never been a planner. I am not someone that meticulously needs to know every single thing that's happening all the time. I love to go with the flow. I'm very naturally flowy. All of my human design arrows point to the right. So my human design babes know that that indicates flow and just a lot of divine femininity, spontaneity, not really needing a lot of structure or routine. Whereas the arrows that do point to the left indicate more structure, indicate more analyticalness and routine and schedule. So when I first started my business, I really took it one step at a time. Everything unfolded as I took that very first step. And then I would take the second, and then the next would appear, and then I would take that. And I was also really good at being pretty critical, not necessarily in a negative sense, but just being critical of structures and strategies and ways of doing business in general. I saw how other people were doing things. I saw what was being promoted. I saw what people were teaching. I'd bought into courses. I had coaches that I was working with. And I was very aware that I picked up on a lot of ways of showing up in business that I honestly just didn't agree with. But it wasn't necessarily agree or disagree. It was a matter of asking myself if this was actually going to serve me as a business owner or not. And so the more I applied very critical thinking to the ways that I showed up in my business, the more I was able to truly integrate the most authentic and the highest version of me into my business and allowing my business to come alive and be an alive, activated business. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this episode, where a couple of the things that I did to shift my business without even knowing, I'm looking back now and I'm giving names to them, okay? But again, didn't have a framework, didn't have a plan. But looking back, there were several things that I did. And again, this isn't, me sharing what I did and now you have to follow and you'll get the same results. It's actually the opposite of why I've created BAA. As many of you know, I see a lot of one-size-fits-all strategies out there for business building, and I don't believe that they always work because we're all completely different people. And this is why I talk about the secret sauce so much, is that we all have something different to bring to the table. And the more we're able to really uncover and fall in love with and embrace and then express that unique part of ourselves, our unique magic, the more we are able to create a business that is truly fulfilling and looks good, not just on the outside monetarily and the way that the business is run, but also feels really good on the inside too. Everything's set up in a sustainable way with a great foundation, and you are able to be lit up by every single thing that you're doing, which is so incredibly important. So in the very beginning stages of building my business, I decided to kind of go against the grain and break the rules. And I didn't even have a program when I first started. I would literally create the program as I went, week by week. I would just create it module by module. And I worked with a couple of, I didn't know this at the time, but they were my beta clients. I didn't tell them that. They were just the first people that I was ever working with. And they knew that I was new to business, and they knew that I was, just kind of getting my bearings, but I had a lot of experience in social media. So for those of you who don't know, I started off as a social media coach, and then I rebranded into the business activation coach. And the reason that I rebranded was because I had no idea. Well, first of all, I created the term business activation, right? Something I'm trademarking and is mine, but it essentially just means, and anyone can activate a business. But I created that because I realized that what I was doing and what I was teaching and who I was serving wasn't serving me. For lack of a better phrase, I felt like the people that I was serving and the aligned clients that I was attracting, I loved the clients I was working with, but I felt like I was meant for more. I wanted to shift into a more expansive paradigm of coaching. And I started off working with content creators and bloggers, and quickly realized that a lot of them were just not as invested in their business as new coaches were, who wanted to leave their 9-to-5s. And so I realized that there was so much more potential and so much more magic in helping corporate women, or, women that were working and staying at home, or that had just worked with a couple of clients to activate their business. That's what really lit me up. But I wouldn't have figured that out if I didn't work for several months as a social media coach, teaching Instagram and a lot of masculine strategies, which I still stand by a lot of them. But it also helped me realize that I didn't want to build a completely masculine business. And so that's when I started breaking the rules. I started looking at what was being taught. I saw a lot of other coaches. Now I don't really follow other coaches. I really just focus on creating my own content so that I'm not accidentally picking up on what somebody else is saying. But back then I followed a lot of coaches and a lot of consultants and a lot of service providers, and I would pick up on everything that they were doing. And I would start asking myself questions like, is this effective? Is this the best way to call in clients? How does this make the reader, the recipient, feel? Right? And I started asking myself those things about my own business. How is my branding? How is my messaging making people feel? Is this feeling like a warm hug, like they are safe and accepted and comfortable in this space and free to be themselves? Or did it feel like I was constantly kicking them in the pants and forcing them to be someone that they weren't, or a version of themselves that I wanted them to be versus who they really are? And I found that that was very true for a majority of the coaching industry. And the reason I bring up the industry, and of course, I'm not going to name any names. There's nobody in particular that I'm thinking about. There's not one specific person that I'm thinking about. I'm not calling out any one specific person. I'm calling out the structure, and I'm calling out the way of coaching, the way that it's been done for so long, for up until this point, and why I feel like it is, in a way, very ineffective and doesn't serve the client or the coach's highest good. I think that coaching, the way a lot of people have jumped in to do it, has created this hierarchical process where the coach is on a pedestal and the coach tells the client what to do, and the client has to listen, and the coach feels very responsible for the client's transformation. And there isn't really this building of trust. I've also heard of horror stories of coaches telling their clients that they're disappointed in them, that they need to make decisions a certain way, like only listening to logic and reasoning and not listening to their intuition and their emotions. And there's so many toxic traits that I've seen inside the coaching industry that doesn't promote this inclusivity values and values where coach and client are equal. And coach just holds the energetic space and asks the right questions and creates a safe environment for the client to come to the answers on their own and be able to guide them to that transformation and be able to, in a way, call the client out if the thing that they're doing is not the thing that's going to get them to the result, but doing so in a way through love and service rather than traumatizing the client. I've had a lot of clients come to me that have been traumatized by their previous coaches in the way that tactics have been created. So the way that I want to approach business building and activating a business is one that is fully inclusive, that is aware of the different domineering and exclusive or discriminatory practices in the coaching industry, as well as the privilege that so many people hold and are sometimes unaware of that can continue to perpetuate oppression, discrimination, or racism. And so I think it's extremely powerful to take a look at how things have been done and continue to integrate critical thinking into them and ask ourselves, is this the way we want to continue this moving forward? Is this the most effective way of doing this? And if not, how can we kind of flip it on its head and do something completely different? And the way that I have been able to blaze my own trail and to create an activated business, one that is rebellious in its own way, one that feels good to me, is being able to bring to light some of these concepts and themes that have really allowed my community to, and not making it this about me because it's not, but as a marketer, it has allowed me to draw in the most aligned clients. And I bring this up because I am not for everyone, and you're also not going to be for everyone. And that's what an activated business is all about. It's not trying to call in every single person that you come across and could possibly benefit from your service, because guess what? Your service needs to be honed in enough to really share your secret sauce in order for it to be the best transformation for a certain kind of person. And if it's serving everybody, it really isn't serving anybody at the end of the day. And so being able to apply your expansive secret sauce and who you are allows you to call in more of your people rather than a whole bunch of people that are not really resonating with your message at all. So in terms of building an activated business and really what that meant for me, in the very beginning, it was just a lot of questions. It was a lot of bringing things to light. It was a lot of conversations about things that I felt like weren't done in the most effective manner and how I felt like I could do things differently with my own platform in my own business. Some of the things that I do that are activated and that disrupt what I've seen done before is the way that I am building out my team. I have a team of all women, majority women of color, and I allow them to have full autonomy over what they do. Meaning I share a project or an idea or a concept that I would love to create, and they know my vision and my mission, and they align with all of my values. And then they take that and they actually assign tasks to me. I'm not hunting anyone down for deadlines. I'm completely trusting that they are going to get things done. And I am giving them the ability to explore that on their own and to have creative direction in a way that feels good to them. I also know each and every one of my team members' human design. And so I am never asking them to do something or make a decision or drive them into something that is against their human design. And we have an open dialogue and an open communication 110% of the time. So if something is not working, they never feel like they can't come to me or at least I hope so. At least that's what it feels like. They never feel like they can't come to me. We have a conversation, and that helps me indicate if I need to hire a new role, outsource that specific task, or see if we can perceive it and attack it from a different perspective. And the first thing that I do is learn all of my new team members' appreciation language, which is the love language for the workplace. And so that way, when I'm showing them appreciation and love and gratitude for how much I love them and how much I love them being on my team, they receive it because it's their way of receiving love. So these are some ways that, because I've had some pretty asshole bosses in the past that are extremely micromanaging, or so far on the other extreme where they don't even communicate with me and then just reprimand me when I do something quote unquote wrong because they failed to communicate instructions to me in the first place and left me completely in the dark. I wanted to create a relationship that feels very equal and that feels very comfortable, where my employees tell me that they love working with me and cannot wait to grow with me. And whenever I share updates in my team Slack, everybody is cheering me on, and it feels incredible. And it is just such an empowering way of doing business. And I share that because it's a way that I've created my own activated business. And it's a way that I have, in my own way, blazed my trail in a way that feels good for me. Now, I'm not saying that this is the only way to build a business. The whole idea of building an activated business is building a business on your own terms. So if this isn't the way that you work or show up as a leader or show up as a business owner, then you get to define what that looks like for you, because that's what activated means. It means that you're making conscious decisions. A lot of us operate in the subconscious, which are things that we've picked up on from years 1 to year 7 in our first several years of childhood that we've never fully recovered from. So creating a conscious collective in the universe and being able to operate in conscious thinking and creating intuitive-led decisions, soul-led, heart-led decisions that put people first, serving first, loving first, is such a different dynamic of showing up in business that is very, very different and the opposite of what I went into business honestly thinking and seeing, which stemmed from a lot of fear and scarcity and wounded masculine tactics and strategies that operated in, I need to do this, I need to put this out there, or I'm going to lose something, or I need to do this, or I can't lose at this because this is what it's going to mean about me. Or I have to get this post up at a certain time and engage for this many hours or this many minutes, or else I won't get the engagement. And this is what I'm going to make it mean about me, right? It was very ego and panic driven and fear driven, in the sense that these strategies that are meant to empower us ended up taking over us and completely took over, in a sense that it began to control us rather than us being in control, us being conscious. And so to me, building an activated business means that you're taking the time to go through the activation framework. And the activation framework and formula is aligning your mind and aligning your energy with your human design. So your energetic, your unique energetic blueprint, as well as looking at your own beliefs around money and business. And you're awakening your audience. You're awakening your soul. You're awakening what is inside of you, as well as the people around you. And that happens simultaneously. When you heal yourself, you heal the entire world. I promise you, it starts within. It starts with yourself, and then it blooms outward in such a beautiful way. It's incredible when it happens. Those of you that are on your healing journey, like I am, you know that when you take the time to shift from subconscious to conscious, from the old way of thinking to the new way, you're switching from an old era into a new chapter, a new paradigm. It is impossible for the people around you not to pick up on that high vibe energy, because that high vibe energy consumes any lower vibrations around it. And then the last step of the framework is activation. You're bringing this to life, but you're bringing this to life in a way that makes sense and feels good to you, so that it doesn't just look good on the outside, but it feels so good on the inside. And you're creating a sustainable foundation so that as you scale, as your business begins to grow and expand along with you, it's able to sustain that because you've got sturdy foundations that incorporate beautiful feminine flow and intuitive led decisions with divine masculine structures that hold you in place in order for you to grow and to spread your wings and to spread your light the way that you're meant to. That's why this is so expansive. That's why this doesn't limit you. And that's the activation formula. And I share this because I want you to know that there is a way of building a business that doesn't have to be a carbon copy of somebody else's 3-step process or somebody else's 5-step framework that they're now sharing with you because they're saying, I got to X amount of money, or I got to this milestone in my business, and here, now you can too, because it doesn't work that way. You are your own entity, your own unique energetic being, and you're meant to carve it out and find out for yourself. You're meant to find out for yourself. And so I want you to know that it is so possible for you to build a business that feels so fucking good, and you are allowed to attract and receive abundant amounts of money and prosperity, and allow yourself to be the activated CEO that you've always dreamed of, working with your aligned clients, teaching the things that you've always wanted to teach from your secret sauce. So if this feels aligned to you and you're feeling lit up and you're vibrating and you're feeling tingly, then Business Activation Academy was designed for you. And I say that because I know that there are certain people that it wasn't designed for, people who aren't ready to take this step, people who aren't ready to make this investment, people that maybe just don't believe in themselves enough for them to take that step. And that's okay. That day will come, right? And I'm also saying that this program is created for anybody on the spectrum who's worked with clients in the past, has never worked with clients in the past, has their own business, but maybe is shifting from very masculine strategies that were based in fear and scarcity, and now is shifting into the divine feminine and embodiment in order to attract more prosperity. So I share this because I want you to know that there is a way of building a business that is so customizable. I created BAA because it's a very much choose your own adventure, right? You get to listen in and integrate the things that feel good to you, and the things that don't, you can leave them. It gets to be this energetic playground where you can play and experiment and try and trial and error your way through it the way that you're supposed to. I think that there are a lot of spaces and programs and containers that don't allow for error and don't allow for experimentation. And I want you to know that's a lot of what we're going to be doing inside Business Activation Academy, is allowing you to have that space, allowing you to have that room to play and make mistakes and be able to build your mindset up and release any of the mind drama that's going on inside of your head, any of that fear or ego talking, in order for you to build up and be the most strong, activated CEO and highest version of you, both spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, right? I want that to be something you truly embody. So if you're feeling good about this, the show notes has the link. It's also in the link in my bio. If you are feeling called to join us inside Business Activation Academy, I am offering 2 different ways to be a part of the Academy. So the first one is the group program, and this is an incredible, my first choice, and how I would love everyone to go through the Academy is inside this sacred group container where we are going to honestly have a fucking party. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have bi-weekly calls throughout the entire 11 weeks, and you're going to have time to access hot seat coaching with me, which means I'm going to allow you to unmute. We're going to coach back and forth until you feel good about your questions. And of course, question and answer, just anything that I can do to support you as you're integrating the modules that are dripping out every single week for the entire 11 weeks. The group calls also have bonus content. So if you're interested in learning how you can further integrate what you're learning inside the modules and different things for you to really go and execute as well as be, so not just the doing, but the being, and you love a good group community that is so high vibe and you've been looking for other like-minded soul entrepreneurs just like you, the group program is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. But of course, if that isn't something that's aligned to you at this time, you're able to access BAA in a self-learning experience where you get access to the modules, you get access to the private Facebook group, and you also get access to the Feminine Flow implementation call on week 5. And you also get access, of course, to the celebration ceremony where you graduate on week 11. So if that feels more aligned to you during this time, then that's the thing that you're called into. But I really encourage you to sit with your human design authority, how you make decisions, and really sit with your intuition to see whether or not this is something that truly, truly lights you up. And I trust you to make the decision that serves your highest self at the end of the day. But if you have any questions about the Academy, I am going to be doing Instagram Lives, Q&As. You can check out my feed for questions that are similar to the ones that you might have for me. But of course, you can DM me. I will get back to you. I am answering every single one of my DMs, so don't be shy. Feel free to reach out to me. I am here as a resource to share anything that you want to know about the Academy as CART is open, but just keep in mind that CART does close on August 20th, so that's on Friday. And just be sure to listen and take your soul's calling. If this is where you're being called towards, take that on, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity and I don't want you to miss out on it. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an incredible rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If this episode resonated with you, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at tiffanychung.co. I truly appreciate interacting with every one of you. Catch you all in the next one.